Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Speak Smart podcast.
Ooh, today we're diving deep.
We're taking a deep dive into the world of English learning.
I like it.
And, I have to say, I'm already feeling energized.
I know, me too.
Just thinking about all the possibilities.
Yeah.
All the doors that could open, all the people you could meet.
It is exciting. And, it's no coincidence that we're focusing on English.
Mm-hmm.
This deep dive is tailored for you, our listener.
Yeah.
Someone who is clearly eager to learn.
That's right.
And looking to expand their horizons.
Yeah, and we've got a fantastic source today. It's
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
It's structured like a lively conversation between two experienced language learners,
Cool.
Sophia and James, and they're sharing their personal journeys and insights, which I think is so valuable.
Absolutely. It makes the whole topic feel relatable, and less intimidating.
Yeah.
And speaking of intimidation, I remember when I first tried learning Italian,
Oh.
the verb conjugations
Oh my gosh.
just seems like an impossible puzzle.
I totally get it. I once tried learning German, and
Oh,
my
yeah.
pronunciation was so off.
Oh, no.
People thought I was speaking a completely different language.
That's amazing.
But you know what?
Right.
Those early struggles actually made the eventual breakthroughs even more rewarding.
You're so right, because you really appreciate it when you finally get it.
You do.
Exactly. And, our source emphasizes that the benefits of learning English far outweigh any initial challenges.
They do.
In fact, let's dive right into that. Why does English matter so much in the first place?
Right. Sometimes I think we take it for granted, but have you ever stopped to consider all the doors that learning English could open for you?
I know, it's incredible, isn't it? Our source really highlights how English is the language of global communication.
It is. It's everywhere.
It really is. It allows you to connect with people from all walks of life, regardless of their native language.
It does. And that reminds me of a story James shares in the source about how his basic English skills helped him navigate a tricky situation while traveling in rural Thailand.
Wow.
He was able to connect with locals, get directions,
Really?
and even share a meal with a family, all thanks to his ability to communicate in English.
That's a really good point. It's a powerful reminder that even a basic grasp of English can lead to incredible experiences and connections that you wouldn't otherwise have. And it's not just about travel.
Right.
English is also a major asset in the professional world.
Huge.
Yes. This is where James's story takes an interesting turn.
Oh.
He talks about how his English proficiency was instrumental in landing his first job at an international company.
I see.
They needed someone who could communicate with clients from all over the world,
Of course.
and his English skills made him the perfect candidate.
It's a classic example of how English can open up career paths you might never have imagined.
For sure, our increasingly interconnected world demands effective communication, and English serves as that bridge.
Absolutely.
And speaking of bridges, English also acts as a bridge to incredible educational opportunities.
Yes. Think about it. So many of the world's top universities, research institutions, and even online learning platforms operate primarily in English.
It's true. If you can understand and speak English, you have access to
So much.
a wealth of knowledge and educational resources.
You can enroll in online courses, read academic journals, and even participate in international conferences. All
Exactly.
thanks to your English skills.
And let's not forget the vast amount of information available on the internet. So much of it is in English.
Oh yeah, it's like unlocking an entire universe of knowledge just by mastering one language.
I know, it's amazing.
And it's not just about practical benefits either.
Right.
Our source highlights how English can enrich your personal life and enhance your enjoyment of hobbies and interests.
Totally. For example, imagine being able to watch your favorite movies and TV shows without subtitles, fully immersing yourself in the story and the characters.
Oh, I can personally attest to that. I remember watching a French film with subtitles, and I kept getting distracted.
Ugh, the subtitles.
By reading the translations, once I learned enough French to watch it without subtitles,
Right.
it was a completely different experience.
Yeah, I bet.
I could finally appreciate the nuances of the dialogue and the actors' performances.
I love that. And it's not just about movies. Imagine understanding the lyrics of your favorite English songs, connecting with the music on a deeper level.
Yes.
Think about exploring the world of literature from classic novels to contemporary bestsellers and being able to savor the author's words in their original form.
It's about opening yourself up to new cultural experiences and artistic expressions that wouldn't be accessible otherwise.
100%.
So we've established that English is incredibly valuable, both personally and professionally.
It is.
But I think a lot of people get stuck on the how, where do you even begin?
That's a great question. Our source does a fantastic job of outlining some practical steps you can take.
Okay.
Even if you're a complete beginner.
And sometimes the simplest advice is the most effective.
Okay, let's unpack that.
Okay.
The first tip.
Start simple.
Okay.
Don't feel like you have to learn everything at once.
Right.
Focus on building a foundation of basic words and phrases. Think greetings, simple questions, common objects. Those are the building blocks that you can then use to create more complex sentences and conversations.
That makes sense. It's like building a house.
Yes.
You need a solid foundation before you can start adding the walls and the roof.
Exactly. And Sophia, one of the speakers in our source, emphasizes that it's okay to make mistakes.
It is.
In fact, mistakes are an essential part of the learning process.
I love that perspective. It takes the pressure off, right?
Yeah. You don't have to be perfect.
Yeah. We all stumble when we're learning something new, and language learning is no exception.
Totally. She even talks about how she used to laugh at her own pronunciation errors.
Oh, that's great.
It's about embracing the journey and not letting fear hold you back. So true. And speaking of the journey, the source emphasizes the importance of practicing regularly.
Yes.
Doesn't have to be hours and hours each day. Even short, consistent bursts of practice.
Yeah, little by little.
Can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. And they offer some really creative suggestions for incorporating English into your daily life.
Oh, like what?
For example, try listening to English songs while you commute.
Yes.
Watching short English videos online, or even talking to yourself in English.
I love that those are great ideas. I actually used to do something similar when I was learning Spanish. I'd narrate my daily activities in Spanish, even if it was just I'm making coffee or I'm going to the store.
Oh, that's so good.
It helped me get more comfortable with using the language in everyday situations.
I love that. That's fantastic. And here's a tip that I found particularly helpful when I was struggling with Italian verb conjugations. Find a language partner.
Oh, yes. The source talks about the benefits of practicing with someone else, whether it's a friend who's also learning English, a native speaker who's willing to help you out, or even an online language partner.
There are so many resources available these days, websites and apps like italki and HelloTalk.
I know.
Make it incredibly easy to connect with language partners from all over the world.
Yeah, it's a game changer. Having someone to practice with makes learning more interactive and fun. You can have conversations, play games, and help each other stay motivated.
I agree. And let's not forget about goal setting.
Oh, yes.
The source stresses the importance of breaking down your learning into manageable steps instead of saying, I want to be fluent in English.
Which can feel overwhelming.
Try setting smaller, more achievable goals.
Right, like learning 5 new words a day, practicing speaking for 10 minutes each day, or finishing 1 chapter of an English book each week.
Exactly. These small wins build momentum and keep you moving forward on your language learning journey.
Yes, and don't forget to celebrate those wins.
Yes, celebrate your progress, acknowledge your effort, and give yourself credit for all the hard work you're putting in. And sometimes it's those small things, like even if you finally nail the pronunciation of a tricky vowel sound.
It feels good.
It feels so good. Those little wins are what fuel the journey.
They do. It's so easy to get caught up in what we haven't mastered yet. But shifting the focus to what we have accomplished,
I know.
It can make all the difference.
Absolutely. So we've covered some great foundational tips.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, what about those listeners who are ready to take their English to the next level?
Yes.
What does our source suggest for reaching fluency?
That's where things get really exciting.
I know, I can't wait.
Our source dives into some advanced strategies that can truly elevate your English skills.
Awesome.
And the first one they emphasize is immersion.
Now, when I hear immersion,
yes,
I immediately think about living abroad, surrounded by the language 24/7.
That's certainly one way to do it. But our source suggests that you can create immersive experiences even without hopping on a plane.
Oh, that's interesting how. So what?
Well, think about simple changes, like switching your phone and computer settings to English. You could also try watching English language movies and TV shows without subtitles, or listening to English music and podcasts more regularly.
Those are great ideas. It's about making English a natural part of your daily routine rather than just something you study in isolation.
Exactly. And the more you surround yourself with the language, the more comfortable you'll become with its rhythms and nuances.
I like that it becomes less about studying and more about absorbing the language organically.
Precisely. And here's another advanced strategy that our source highlights: extensive reading.
Okay.
They emphasize the importance of reading a wide variety of materials in English. Everything from novels and newspapers to even blog posts and academic articles.
You know, reading has always been my secret weapon for language learning. I remember devouring English novels as a teenager.
Oh, wow.
And I honestly think I learned more vocabulary from those books than I did from any textbook.
Really? It's incredible how much you can absorb just by immersing yourself in well-written text. And I love that the source encourages us to go beyond just reading. They suggest practicing writing in different formats as well.
So not just sticking to essays or email.
Right. The challenge is to experiment with different styles, like writing reports, letters, or even creative stories. It's about pushing your boundaries and exploring new ways to express yourself in English.
That's a fantastic way to keep things interesting and prevent those learning plateaus. It's easy to get stuck in a rut, but trying new forms of writing can really spark creativity and keep that momentum going.
Absolutely. And speaking of keeping things fresh, let's not forget about the importance of active listening. The course recommends tuning in to podcasts, audiobooks, and even radio shows to hone your comprehension skills.
You know, I find that active listening is crucial for developing a natural flow and rhythm in a new language. It's not just about understanding individual words. It's about picking up on the subtle nuances of pronunciation, intonation, and even cultural context.
Couldn't agree more. And, our source also reminds us that no matter how advanced we become, speaking practice should never be neglected.
Yes, the dreaded speaking practice. I think that's where a lot of language learners hit a wall. The fear of making mistakes or sounding awkward can be paralyzing.
It's so true. But our source offers some great advice for overcoming that fear. They emphasize the importance of simply jumping in and starting to speak, even if it feels uncomfortable at first.
Easier said than done, right? But they do offer some practical tips.
Exactly. They suggest things like describing your daily activities out loud, planning your day in English, or even having imaginary conversations with yourself.
I love those ideas. They're simple, yet so effective. It's about creating low-pressure opportunities to get comfortable with the sounds and rhythms of the language.
Absolutely. And, it's amazing how quickly those small acts of courage can build confidence. Pretty soon, you'll be striking up conversations with native speakers without even thinking twice.
That's the dream now. I have to ask, does our source offer any real-life examples of people who have successfully used these strategies to achieve fluency? It's one thing to hear about the methods, but it's another thing entirely to see them in action.
You read my mind. Get ready to be inspired, because our source features some incredible success stories from people who've used English to transform their lives. And these aren't just random anecdotes. These are in-depth accounts of individuals from all walks of life, from entrepreneurs and lawyers to teachers and students who've harnessed the power of English to achieve their goals.
That's fantastic. Do any specific stories stand out?
Oh, absolutely. There's Carlos, an entrepreneur who dreamed of expanding his business internationally, but knew that language barriers could hold him back.
I can relate to that. Building connections across cultures is so important in today's global marketplace.
Exactly. So Carlos decided to invest in learning English, and he went all in. He enrolled in online courses, practiced relentlessly with business partners, and even started reading business journals and watching financial news in English.
Wow, that's dedication. It sounds like he created a truly immersive experience for himself.
He did, and his efforts paid off in a big way. His business flourished, he was able to secure partnerships with companies around the world, and he even started traveling internationally to attend conferences and meet with clients.
That's a powerful example of how English can unlock doors to new markets and opportunities. It's not just about language, it's about connecting with people and building relationships on a global scale. Are there any other stories that resonate with you?
Oh, definitely. There's Aisha, who had her sights set on becoming an international lawyer.
That's an ambitious goal. I imagine legal English is a whole other level of complexity.
It is. Yeah. But Aisha was determined. She realized early on that she needed to specialize in legal English. So she sought out targeted courses, participated in mock trials, and even managed to secure an internship at a prestigious international law firm.
She clearly understood the importance of immersing herself in the specific language and culture of her chosen field. That's such a smart approach.
It really is. And it paid off in a big way. Aisha's now living her dream, working on international cases and collaborating with legal professionals from all over the world.
It's incredible to see how she used English as a tool to build her expertise and achieve her ambitions. These stories are so inspiring. They really highlight how language learning is about so much more than just memorizing vocabulary or grammar rules. It's about expanding your horizons and creating new possibilities for yourself.
Exactly. And there's one more story I have to share. Li Wei's story. Li Wei had always wanted to be an English teacher, but she knew that she needed to elevate her own language skills before she could effectively guide others.
That's so important. A teacher's passion and proficiency can truly make all the difference in a student's learning experience. What did Li Wei do to achieve her goal?
Well, she took a bold step and decided to immerse herself completely in the language from Zhuhai. She moved to an English-speaking country for a year, lived with a host family, attended advanced English classes, and even volunteered at local schools to practice her skills in a real-world setting.
Wow, talk about taking the plunge. That's a true testament to her commitment to both language learning and her future career.
It really is, and the transformation was incredible. She returned to her home country with a newfound confidence and fluency, ready to inspire her own students and share her love of the English language.
These stories are truly remarkable. They demonstrate that with dedication, a strategic approach, and a willingness to embrace challenges, achieving fluency in English is a very real possibility, and the impact it can have on your life, both personally and professionally, is profound.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's like learning English gives you a passport to a whole new world of experiences, connections, and opportunities. And, what strikes me about all of these stories is the emphasis on setting goals and celebrating progress.
That's such a crucial point. It's so easy to get bogged down in what we haven't mastered yet, to feel discouraged by those inevitable stumbling blocks. But these individuals, they understood the power of focusing on the small victories, of acknowledging those incremental steps forward. They set achievable targets, recognized their efforts, and celebrated every milestone along the way.
It's like those small wins are fuel for the journey, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, it's so easy to get caught up comparing ourselves to others, or focusing on this perfect ideal of fluency.
Yeah.
But language learning isn't a race. It's a journey, and it's one that's uniquely personal. And what works for one person might not work for another, and that's okay.
That's right.
The key is to find what works for you, what motivates you.
Yeah, what keeps you engaged.
Yeah, and just trust the process.
Yeah, trust the process. And as we wrap up this deep dive into the power of English learning, I think it's worth revisiting those key benefits that we've uncovered.
Yeah, for sure.
It's easy to get swept up in the practicalities, grammar rules, vocabulary lists.
I know.
But it's important to remember why we're embarking on this journey in the first place.
Right, absolutely. So let's recap. First and foremost, English connects us globally.
Yes, it does.
It allows us to communicate with people from all corners of the world, to break down those barriers of language and culture, and to build bridges of understanding and connection.
It's like having a universal key that unlocks a whole new level of human interaction. We can travel to new places, forge friendships with people from different backgrounds, and experience the world in a richer, more meaningful way.
And those connections extend beyond just personal experiences. English has become the language of business science and technology. It's the lingua franca of the global marketplace. And mastering it can open doors to incredible career opportunities and advancements.
Whether you're aiming for a promotion, a career change, or simply the ability to collaborate effectively with international colleagues, English proficiency gives you a competitive edge in today's interconnected world.
And let's not underestimate the cognitive benefits of language learning. Engaging with a new language, especially one as rich and complex as English, is like a fantastic workout for your brain. It sharpens your cognitive skills, enhances your memory, and expands your capacity for critical thinking.
Yeah, it's like giving your brain a gym membership.
Totally.
And speaking of access, English unlocks access to a vast universe of knowledge and information. Think about all the incredible educational resources that are available in English. Online courses, research articles, academic journals, lectures, and even just the sheer volume of information available on the internet.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It really is.
Learning English opens the door to a world of continuous learning and exploration. And, while we've talked a lot about the practical and professional benefits, let's not forget the sheer joy and enrichment that English can bring to our personal lives.
Yes, absolutely. It opens up a world of entertainment and cultural experiences. Imagine being able to understand the lyrics of your favorite English songs, to fully appreciate the humor and nuances of a British sitcom, to lose yourself in the pages of a classic English novel without needing a translation.
That's the dream.
It is.
It's about experiencing culture in its most authentic form, connecting with art and stories on a deeper level, and expanding our understanding of the human experience.
So what does all of this mean for you, our listener? We've explored the why, we've delved into the how, and we've been inspired by real-life success stories. The takeaway, I think, is that learning English is an investment in yourself, in your future, in your ability to connect with the world in a meaningful way, and in your own personal growth.
And the beauty of it is that there's no one right way to learn. Whether you thrive in structured classroom environments, prefer the immersive nature of language exchange programs, or find solace in the self-paced flexibility of online courses. The key is to find what resonates with you, what sparks your curiosity, and keeps you motivated.
Embrace those small victories. Celebrate your progress, and never underestimate the power of consistent effort. Even those small, seemingly insignificant steps forward when taken consistently over time can lead to incredible transformations.
So as we conclude this deep dive, I'd like to leave you with a thought-provoking question. What's one small step you can take today to either begin your English learning journey or to re-energize your existing efforts?
Maybe it's downloading a language learning app, signing up for an online course, finding a conversation partner, or simply committing to reading one English article or watching one English language TV show this week.
Remember, every journey begins with a single step.
It does.
And the journey to fluency in English, well, that's a journey worth taking.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Speak Smart podcast.
We hope you feel inspired and empowered to unlock the power of English in your own life. Until next time, keep speaking, keep learning, and keep exploring.